Israel. Now we move on to our next news. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán has reiterated his belief that peace in Ukraine will only be possible when both the West and Ukraine acknowledge that NATO membership is not an option for Kyiv. He said that Ukraine's NATO ambitions, supported by the US and Western Europe, were the main drivers of the ongoing conflict with Russia. He emphasized that Moscow would never allow NATO expansion on its western border and suggested that a comprehensive agreement between Russia and the US is needed to resolve the crisis. Meanwhile, a Russian missile attack on Mykolaiv in southern Ukraine injured at least 7 people. 2 of the injured were hospitalized and multiple buildings were destroyed or damaged. This comes as Ukraine's Air Force reported intercepting dozens of Russian drones and missiles targeting multiple locations across the country. Now we are joined by Professor Georgi Toloraya. He's an international affairs expert, joins us live from Moscow. Thank you, Professor Georgi, for joining us today. Welcome to NewsX World. Now, how realistic is Prime Minister Viktor Orban's stance that peace in Ukraine is only achievable if NATO membership for Ukraine is off the table?
Well, I think that's a very realistic proposal, and we have mentioned that for a long time that we need a final solution, permanent solution for Ukrainian war, and this would include Ukraine being a neutral state, non-hostile to Russia, denazified, and of course it shouldn't join NATO. This would be one of the causes which caused the war, and there should be a solution to avoid further clashes. This is a basic principle of Russia, and the sooner it could be negotiated, the sooner the conflict will end.
And Professor Georgi, could this position by Hungary influence other EU or NATO members?
Well, I don't think that they would listen, because it had been said over and over again, but London, Paris, and Germany and Berlin, they're hell-bent on inflicting maximum casualties and maximum damage to Russia, if not to defeat it strategically. It was the initial goal, then to weaken a Russian economy and Russian state to the extent that it should be obedient. That's not going to happen, but we pay daily lives of soldiers and of civilians for that. I've noticed that your channel always reports about some casualties and damage in Ukraine, but you never actually report about the same damage in Russia for the Russian civilians. Today, only this night, we had about 100 drones attacking Russian or different regions, all the way up to Urals, and there were several casualties in Voronezh city, for example. And they were bombing of the Zaporozhye atomic power plant, which is controlled by Russia, so you shouldn't think that Russians are bombing themselves. So this is not very widely reported, and this is war. This is war going on, inflicting damage on both sides. The sooner it ends, the better.
Professor Georgi, thank you very much for joining us today and sharing